11,773 people who died in drunk driving accidents involving a driver with an illegal blood alcohol content of 0.08 or greater. These deaths constitute 31.6% of the 37,261 total traffic fatalities in 2008. The average death due to alcohol is 85,000 per year, if you include the liver-related deaths due to the overconsumption of alcohol and alcohol poisoning. Marijuana is a green, brown, or gray mixture of dry, shredded leaves, stems, seeds, and flowers of a hemp plant. Marijuana has a chemical in it called tetrahydrocannabinol, better known as THC. All forms of marijuana are mind-altering or psychoactive. In other words, they change how the brain works. This statement is from AboveTheInfluence.com. Yes, marijuana does have its effects on people who decide to use it, but it's not nearly as deadly as the effects of alcohol, tobacco, or other hardcore drugs. I strongly believe that due to these comparisons and other hard-hitting evidence, marijuana should be legalized for recreational use in the United States of America. The first and most basic reason why marijuana should be legal is that there is no good reason for it not to be legal. Some people ask, why should marijuana be legalized? But we should be asking, why should marijuana be illegal? From a philosophical point of view, individuals deserve a right to make choices for themselves. The only right the government has is to limit those choices if the individual's actions endanger someone else. This most likely does not apply to marijuana, since the individual who chooses to use marijuana does so according to his or her own free will. The Teen Drug Abuse website states that the percentage of high school students favoring prohibitive laws on the private use of marijuana fell dramatically from 1990 to 1997 from 56% to 39%. Nearly 33% of high school seniors in the year 2000 believe that marijuana should be legalized, and nearly one quarter, which is 23%, believe it should be treated as a minor violation rather than a crime. 3 in 10 feel that marijuana should be treated as a crime. Instead of making marijuana 100% illegal, the government should try regulating the plant and put more effort into enforcing a better drug awareness course to keep young children and teens away from it. The government also may have the right to limit individual actions if the actions pose a significant threat to the individual. This argument does not logically apply to marijuana because marijuana is far less dangerous than some drugs which are legal, such as alcohol and tobacco. The second important reason that marijuana should be legal is that it should save our government tons of money. In the United States, all levels of government participate in the war on drugs. We are currently spending billions of dollars every year to chase ordinary, peaceful people who happen to like the effect marijuana has on them. Those people get locked up in prison, and we as taxpayers have to foot the bill. Once of age, we have to pay for food, housing, health care, attorney fees, court costs, and other expenses to lock these people up. This is extremely costly and useless. We could save billions of dollars every year as a nation if we stop wasting money and locking people up for having marijuana. In addition, if marijuana were legal, the government would be able to collect taxes on it. This would give a lot of money to pay for effective drug education programs and other important causes. The third major reason why marijuana should be legal is because prohibition does not help the country in any way and causes a lot of problems. There is no good evidence that prohibition decreases drug use, and there are several theories that suggest prohibition might actually increase drug use. For example, with the forbidden fruit effect and the easier accessibility for youth. One unexamined effect that marijuana prohibition is that marijuana is very popular in American high schools. Why is this, you may ask? Because it is available. You do not have to be 21 to buy marijuana, and typically marijuana dealers do not care how old you are as long as you have the money. It is actually easier for many high schoolers to obtain marijuana than it is to obtain alcohol. This is because alcohol is legal and therefore is regulated to be kept away from children and those under 21. If our goal is to reduce drug consumption, then we should focus on open and honest programs and to educate the youth, regulation to keep the drugs away from kids, and treatment programs for people with drug problems. But the current prohibition scheme does not allow such reasonable approaches to marijuana. Instead, we are stuck with dare police officers spreading lies about drugs in schools and policies that result in jail time rather than treatment for people with drug addictions. We tried prohibition with alcohol, and that failed miserably. We should be able to learn our lesson and stop repeating the same mistake. In conclusion, the use and possession of cannabis is not a harmful thing. If a person decides to use marijuana, he or she is harming themselves. The right of free will is not being practiced with the laws against marijuana. Also, the cost of reinforcing the laws against marijuana are essentially pointless and are a waste of funds. Those costs could be used to fund a series of drug education classes for young children and teens. Lastly, the prohibition of this plant is not logical. The prohibition will indirectly increase the attraction of the drug and do the opposite of prohibition was set out to do. Therefore, we as a people need to take the high road and legalize marijuana because it's simply ridiculous to fight against something that is not harmful, or at least not as harmful as things that are already legal, such as tobacco and alcohol. Thank you.